So in 2025, you need to be using the right savings account to store your extra cash. Otherwise, you could be missing out on hundreds or even thousands of dollars in interest. That's because traditional big name banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America pay as little as only 0.01% APY with their savings accounts. So for every $10,000 with them, you'd only be earning around $1 single per year. However, with the national average savings rate at 0.42% APY and some high yield savings accounts paying over 9 times more than that average, you could be earning $400 per 10,000 saved, or even a little bit more than that. So in this video, let's go over the 7 best high yield accounts plus a few honorable mentions, starting first here with Capital One and their 360 Performance Savings Account. Capital One currently pays 3.80% APY with this high yield savings account. And one thing to note for the rest of this video is that with the Fed constantly adjusting rates, the specific number here with this account and the rest of the accounts that we're going to talk about here is going to be accurate at the time of filming, but it will change over time. The important thing is to make sure that you're earning a rate that's much higher than whatever the national average is, and then you also want to be banking with an account that has some other good features as well. And with this Capital One 360 savings account, the things that I really like here are that there's no fees, no minimum deposit or balance requirements, and you're also covered by FDIC insurance, which all the other accounts in this video have as well, because that is super important for protection. Now, for this best high yield savings account video that I like to update every year, for 2025, I'm going to be giving an award to each account based on my own opinions and the opinions of thousands of comments that I get from you guys on previous videos. And so for Capital One 360 Savings, they're going to get the Best Hybrid Bank Award because of both their online and in-person banking options. Capital One is one of the few big names in the whole consumer banking world that I think has really embraced technology and branding very well to lead to a really good customer experience. So they've got Capital One cafes and then actual in-branch locations that you can go and visit depending on your needs. But then at the same time, they also really deliver very well with their online products. I've personally made several of these Capital One 360 savings accounts over the years for different savings goals, and it's super easy to set one or multiple of these accounts up for different purposes. And then another nice thing here is that you can also set up automatic transfers over to these accounts to sort of automate your savings. Now, next here, let's move on to a bank that I think offers potentially even more value with their additional features and a slightly higher rate, and that is going to be SoFi, who offers their checking and savings product. Now, you're going to get both a checking and a savings account together if you bank with SoFi. So those are two separate accounts that I think work really well together, which is why SoFi has actually become my primary bank for almost 4 years now. With their savings account, at the time of filming, you can earn up to 4.00% APY, and then with their checking account, you can earn up to 0.50% APY. So that savings rate is going to be one of the best, but then that checking rate is also pretty good here because most checking accounts offer little to no interest at all. Now, the thing to consider with that high yield savings rate for SoFi is that you do have to go ahead and set up and then have direct deposit activity in order to get that higher rate. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're only going to get 1.20% APY on your savings. For me, I just have direct deposit set up with my business so that whenever I pay myself at the end of the month into my SoFi accounts, I'm good to go. But for anyone else, it's really just as simple as swapping out your direct deposit with either your SoFi checking or SoFi savings account, and then you're easily going to qualify for that higher rate as well. Again, to me, I think that step is worth it because both the checking and the savings accounts here are paying great rates, but then the features that really keep me as a SoFi customer have more to do with some of the other things they offer. For example, I always use their vaults feature, which essentially lets you sort of create these different sub accounts within your savings account. So personally, I have one vault for travel, another one for holiday gifts, and then another one for wedding expenses because I've been going to a lot of weddings lately, and I kind of realized that I wanted to have some money set aside for that. Having money in those vaults is going to be great for just visualizing all your different savings goals, and you're still going to earn up to 4.00% APY within all of that because it's all under your savings account. And then honestly, I also just really love the SoFi app and the platform because it lets me link other accounts that I have so I can see all my balances and spending in one place. I like to use a few different apps and a custom budgeting template as well that I just manually track my spending with, but in my opinion, having all that additional oversight of my spending whenever I log into SoFi is always nice to have. You've also got no account or minimum balance fees. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, and there's also FDIC insurance for up to $2 million if you want that, thanks to the participating banks they work with. And they even offer a sign-up bonus of up to $300 depending on what kind of direct deposit activity you have within a period of 25 days after you set that up. Reading the details on that offer, you can get a $50 bonus if you receive between $1,000 and $4,999.99 during that period. Or if you receive $5,000 of direct deposits or more, then you're going to get that full $300 amount. So yeah, SoFi is going to win my award for the best overall bank platform in this video, and I'll go ahead and leave a link down below to SoFi checking and savings if you're interested. But I'm also going to go ahead and leave a link to all the bank accounts we talk about in this video to keep things nice and organized. Now, next here, let's move on to another bank that's always been one of the leaders when it comes to online high yield savings, and that's going to be Ally Bank with the Ally Savings account. Ally is currently paying 3.80% APY, which puts it at over 9 times the national average as well. And then you're also going to get a bunch of the basics here that I look for in a good savings account, like no monthly maintenance fees and no minimum balance requirements, along with FDIC insurance, again, like all the other accounts here have in this video. But then on top of all that stuff, what I really like about Ally are their two features they advertise the most, called buckets and boosters. And so buckets are really meant to organize your money and then visualize what you're saving for, and then boosters are meant to optimize and maximize your savings. The buckets feature is going to work similar to how SoFi Vault works, where you could just save for different goals like emergencies, pets, and vacations. And Ally does let you have multiple buckets under one savings account, where you're also going to be earning that high yield rate. The boosters feature is a little more unique because it's split up into three things: recurring transfers, roundups, and surprise savings. With recurring transfers, that means you could just automatically move money into your savings account on a schedule, which is something that other accounts offer as well. With roundups, you can round up spending from your Ally spending account to the nearest dollar to then also automatically get deposited over to Ally savings. And then with surprise savings, Ally is going to analyze your linked checking account for safe to save money that then they also are going to transfer over for you. So for this Ally savings account, because there's all this opportunity for extra features, I'm going to go ahead and give it the award for best features in this video. But when it comes to high yield savings, maybe you just value simplicity instead of these features, which is going to lead me to the next account here called Marcus from Goldman Sachs. Now, Marcus is currently offering 3.90% APY with no fees or minimums as well, along with same-day transfers of $100,000 or less to or from other banks, which is pretty convenient. Again, this is FDIC insured here. And then one other interesting thing to note is that Goldman technically offers another high yield account paying the same rate with Apple Savings that you need the Apple Card in order to get. So if you don't have the Apple Card like me, because you know there's just better credit cards out there, then this Marcus Savings account is going to be another good way to bank with Goldman. Other than that, there's really not that much to it. So like I said, super simple and super easy to use, which can definitely be a good thing. And so for this high yield savings account, I'm going to give it the simple but effective award for this video. But then for this next account here, I'm also going to say it's pretty simple, but it does have one other bonus account that you can pair with it as well. So let's move on to American Express high yield savings. With this account from Amex, you've got a 3.80% APY here. And again, there's no fees or minimums plus FDIC insurance. And then one other thing that I personally really like with Amex because of my experience, especially with their credit cards, is that their customer service has always been really, really good and just easy to talk to. Now, the bonus to banking with American Express is that they also offer a very strong checking product separate from the savings account that you can pair with it if you want to, and that is called Rewards Checking. With this account, you're going to earn 1.00% APY, which is double what SoFi is offering with their checking product, and both of those are going to be way better than what most other checking accounts offer, which is typically nothing. Amex Rewards Checking also has no fees or minimums, but then like the name suggests, you're going to be able to earn valuable Amex membership rewards points here with this account, which are going to be the exact same type of points earned by some of their most popular cards like the Platinum and Gold cards. You can earn 1 point for every $2 spent on the debit card that comes with this account, or in other words, that's only 0.5 points per dollar on everything, so that's not exactly amazing when many credit cards out there offer 1.5 or 2x on all your spending, but still, when most debit cards are nothing, at least you're getting something here. So yeah, the Amex high yield savings account is a simple but very good account. And then because you can go ahead and pair that with the rewards checking account as well that we just talked about, I'm going to give Amex the best checking account companion award, but I'm actually going to go ahead and share this award with the next bank here as well, which is Discover, who also offers a very great savings and checking combination. So Discover has an online savings account that's currently offering 3.75% APY and then no fees or minimums plus FDIC insurance here as well. Again, that's very basic, and it's also pretty competitive with the Amex account that we just went over. And then just like Amex, customer service is really something here that shines with Discover, which you can confirm is true just by reading what people are saying over on Reddit. And trust me, the people on Reddit will definitely let you know if they don't like a certain bank's customer service. So yeah, Discover's high yield savings account is also pretty basic but good here. But then their separate checking account that you can pair with it also works kind of similar to how the Amex checking account works, except instead of earning points, you're just going to be earning straight up cash back. Discover's checking account is called Cashback Debit, and with it, you can earn 1% cash back on up to $3,000 in debit card purchases each month. And again, even though there are credit cards out there offering more than that, I get that not everyone wants to use credit cards, so at least here with this card, you could potentially earn up to $360 in cash back per year at the moment with these cashback limits. Now, if you do use credit cards and you prefer to earn cash back, then I'd also recommend you go ahead and check out the Discover It Cashback card, which I'll link to down below. And that card earns 5% cash back in rotating quarterly categories like Target, Amazon, restaurants, and more for up to $1,500 in spending per quarter. So yeah, if you're a cashback person, then Discover is probably a bank that you want to be a customer with. Now, there's no fees or minimums with Discover's cashback cashback debit account either, but then two things to note are that first, you're not going to be earning interest on your checking balances, and then second, Capital One is continuing to move forward with its acquisition of Discover, which is anticipated to close around early 2025. That acquisition could change things slightly over the long term with those two banks, but I don't really anticipate a lot of big changes in the short term. But yeah, Discover with their savings account plus that whole checking account product earning cash back there is going to share the best checking account companion award with Amex, and both banks are also going to be very good options if customer service is a big priority for you as well. Now, next year I've got some honorable mentions that could also be really great high yield accounts to look into. But first, for the 7th bank account on this list, I'm actually going to go ahead and name two that I think would qualify for the highest rate award. I know there's some people out there that really just care about finding the highest APY, and so these two are currently paying out slightly more than some of the other accounts mentioned earlier. So first, there's Lending Club with their Level Up Savings account, which is currently paying 4.75% APY with no fees and FDIC insurance. However, one thing to note here with this Lending Club account is that they do require you to deposit at least $250 or more per month in order to get that elevated rate. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you only get their standard rate of 3.75% APY. Second, there's the Basque Bank Interest Savings Account with 4.50% APY and no deposit requirements, plus there's also no fees and FDIC insurance as well. And then Basque Bank even offers a mileage savings account, which is pretty unique here because it lets you earn 2 American Airlines Advantage miles per $1 saved annually. Now, personally, as a points and miles nerd myself, I just prefer to keep my strategy with all that stuff separate from my savings, but that's just me. But still, even with just that normal high yield account, 4.50% is really good right now. There's also a few other smaller banks out there that offer maybe just a tiny bit of a higher rate, but honestly, most of those have minimums or some other fine print that you have to think of, which I think is too much of a hassle. So to me, with any of these high yield savings accounts mentioned so far here, those are going to have the best balance of good rates, good features, and good banking overall that's just going to help you reach your savings goals in 2025. Now, as for the honorable mentions here, these are going to be accounts that sort of fall into the category of cash management accounts, which are going to be offered by some large brokerages out there and some big fintech names. And even though these types of accounts do offer some great high yield rates, features, and protections that are very similar to savings accounts, they're technically not actually bank accounts. The way cash management accounts are structured is that they're pretty much all online, so there's usually a big emphasis on having a good user interface on the surface. And then behind the scenes, these accounts work with third-party banks to provide coverage like FDIC insurance for the money that you keep in there. Examples of these that I like are Wealthfront Cash and Betterment Cash Reserve, which both currently offer 4.25% APY at the time of filming this. And then there's also Fidelity's cash management account offering a constantly changing 4.10% money market rate, or there's Vanguard's Cash Plus offering 3.90% APY right now as well. Now, those specific accounts are fine, and I personally trust them, especially those big institutions like Fidelity and Vanguard, which is why I mentioned them here. But like I've also mentioned in previous videos, I do think it's important to be aware of previous fintech failures like Yada, for example, whose customers ran into trouble accessing their money, and that was really due to failures of third-party middlemen that worked between Yada and their partner banks. From my understanding of the whole situation, even though Yada as a fintech company was marketing FDIC insurance through their partner banks, because it was those middlemen that failed and not those partner banks actually themselves, apparently that did not trigger the FDIC insurance. And so because of that, many people have just been left without access to the money they gave to Yada, and then this whole situation is just this ongoing thing that hopefully eventually gets resolved. I'll leave a link to an article down below about that situation if you want to learn more. So personally, I like to hold the majority of my savings in accounts that are from actual banks, so that way my deposits are directly covered by FDIC insurance. But if you're going to go ahead and look into those cash management accounts, then I do think those four that I mentioned with Wealthfront, Betterment, Fidelity, and Vanguard, those are going to be pretty good options to include here as honorable mentions. Now, once you've got one of the best savings accounts from this video for saving your money, you also want to make sure you go out there and get some of the best credit cards from your wallet for spending your money as well. So make sure you go ahead and check out this video over here on the screen next, where I break down the top credit cards out there on the market right now. But as always, thanks so much for watching.